Ranked number 6 by the WBC, number 12 by the IBF. Cesar Barrionuevo takes on Abel Ramos on Bounce TV, right here on the RT Boxing. That's what we're talking about today.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
You can hate him for not making that fight happen, but this is an unbiased show. We talk boxing. If it is just some missed details, the RT Boxing Show, Mr. A is here to help you, because that's what we do. We talk that boxing, spit that fire on the internet, dragging on the net, hashtag dragging on the net. Follow me on at Twitter at RRTB Show. The RT Boxing Show with Mr. A. Thanks for tuning in, folks. Thanks for tuning in. Now, this fight between Cesar, the Argentinian, taking on Abel Ramos, takes place on August 3rd. And before I get into the breakdown and my prediction, I like to go into a little weirdness. What is real, I guess, coincidence? Just a maybe. This fight takes place on August 3rd. Now, I did my video on Keith Thurman's return before it got canceled on the August 4th, who his opponent might be. And through a process of eliminations, looking at records and who people are. If you tune into the show and you watch that episode, you remember I narrowed it down to 2 people. I eventually went with Josecito Lopez, because the name and the requisition, but I was deciding between Josecito Lopez and Cesar. Just depending on the record. He's Argentinian, he has a good record, good power, but he's beatable. And I know the heavy rumor was Josecito Lopez, but maybe it was Cesar, who was supposed to be a Keith Thurman return for August 4th, because out of nowhere, this Argentinian who's not fighting in the States, he's a headliner on a PBC August 3rd card. Maybe he was supposed to be August 4th, a comeback fight for Keith Thurman, so they just kept him around and just said, you know what, you're here, you've been training, we'll give you a fill-in fight. He's fighting, just a maybe. Maybe this was Keith Thurman's comeback opponent. And I said, it was between him and Josecito Lopez, and everyone was leaning towards Josecito Lopez because of the name. But I told you guys, don't be surprised if it's Cesar Barrionuevo. Barrionuevo. You gotta get that. Barrionuevo. Like I said, now that that's said, it's weird that Keith Thurman was an August 4th fight. I said this might be his opponent as a comeback fight, tune-up fight, and here he is August 3rd, making a PBC fight, a headliner. Just a Mr. A's thought, something little boxing tidbit to chew on right here on the RT Boxing Show. But now that's out the way, let's get into Barrionuevo. He is number 14th ranked welterweight in the world. He has 40 fights, 169 rounds of experience with a 69 knockout ratio. His record is 34-3-2 with 24 KOs. That's why I thought it's pretty good numbers for a Keith Thurman comeback. You know what I mean? He's Argentinian. Nice punching power. That something's in the Argentinian water. Maidana, Lucas, and just throughout Argentina. And you watch the fighters. He's a southpaw. He's 5'8.5". And then you go to his opponent, Abel Ramos, who's been on PBC for a while. He fought Ivan Baranchik, who's in the middleweight tournament. He's fought Jamal James. And those are the 2 I remember seeing him on PBC. I seen those 2 fight. He lost them both, but he puts up violent effort. He has a 69-inch reach. He's 5'9", and he also has a 60% knockout ratio. So these guys are going to come in there with the ability to put damage on you. They're going to put damage on you. 106 rounds of experience. He's ranked number 65 in the world. His record is 23-2 at 15 KOs, and he's been KO'd one time out of his 3 losses. So that right there lets you know he is very susceptible to getting hit hard, but he takes good punches. You know, he only lost 3 times, and like I said, 2 of those losses was against Ivan, who's a dark horse in the WBSS tournament, and Jamal James, who's a pretty good prospect right now in the welterweight division himself. So head to head, Abel Ramos got the height at half an inch by 5'9". They can't find Barrionuevo's reach, but Ramos is 69. Now the breakdown of these 2 fighters, like I said, power wise and offensively, Ramos to me has faster delivery with his punches. He has a stronger jab to me. Works better behind his jab, and he's pretty decent a hooker. Whereas Cesar, he definitely has power in both hands. He moves around the ring better. You know, so he's not moving and punching, but he could hit and then make you reset. So he definitely has. I like the overall offense of Cesar. It's not just come forward and try and throw the kitchen sink at you like Abel Ramos does. It's a little more wrinkles. Like I said, he could do that if he needs to. He goes up and down to the body. He jabs himself in, and then, like I said, jabs himself in. It was not as strong of a jab as Abel, but he could jab himself in. He goes up and down to the body, had power in both hands of the hook. Whereas Abel, pretty, like I said, he's better on the jab to me. So I like the movement offense of Cesar, but the jab of Abel. But overall, I'm going to go with this. I like Cesar's offense better. I like his up and down body attacks. I like how he jabs and works behind his jab, where Ramos, he jabs, but he doesn't work behind it. Defensively, Cesar, because of his movement, he could hit and move. You know, and Ramos, he's either going to just wear you out with his onslaught, unless you tire him out, unless you like beat him up and make him tired. That's which Ivan did. He was going war to war with Ivan and taking some hard ass shots. But eventually Ivan just wore him out with a little bit of body shots, but just headshots. And he was taking those headshots. So this is going to be, if Cesar can't get him out with headshots or tire him out, Cesar's going to be he's going to be in for some trouble. And so defensively, I like Cesar because of his movement, but Ramos is just either a gap control, high guard, and that's it. Really, his head is there. You know, he's pretty good. He could duck. You know, he's pretty elusive for a big guy. He ducks under punches. He decent movement around the ring, but I like Cesar. It's just a little bit different. But you know, he's more elusive on his feet. He constantly going. Like he could do it as part of a strategy, where Abel seems like his movement is just to avoid you for that spot. You know, he can't do it consistently. Then we go into the legs and the feet. Ramos, his feet, pretty good. It's pretty good for his punch selection. Set himself for the next punch. He doesn't throw himself off balance too much. He doesn't punch over his feet. Like I said, he's good at he could punch it and duck your shot with his legs and feet. You know what I mean? So he's not too heavy-footed. And I said, and Cesar, he's good on his feet. He can skip around the ring. He gets good power leverage from his legs. But the feet is tough. But I want to go with the feet of, even though Cesar is definitely a better mover, but legs and feet, that's tough. Because Ramos is pretty good. He keeps the gap. He keeps distance good. I go with Cesar. Now, in order for Ramos to win this fight, he's going to have to just he's going to have to be first, double up on a jab, and don't be repetitive with the jab. Change up the speeds of his punches. He's going to have to keep the hard hitting Cesar guessing. So double up on the jab, work the body, and keep the fight. If he could get Cesar against the ropes, that'd be good. But himself, he needs to stay off the ropes. Now, if for Cesar to win, he's going to have to be a little... Even though he works behind a jab, he doesn't have a shotgun jab. He's going to have to do damage with this jab. He likes to just kind of paw it out. Not paw it out there, but more of a setup. He's going to have to use the jab. Use the jab. Work the body of Ramos. Because like I said, Ramos has a fucking granite head. He's going to take some shots. If he could get Ramos to be a little winded, and then the headshots to do more damage. So you have a shotgun jab, work the body, and put Ramos on the ropes. Put Ramos on the ropes where he could be squared up and he could land those power shots. Now, saying all that, the prediction for this fight right here on the Double RT Boxing Show, the Ready Talk Boxing Show, Mr.A, who you can follow on Twitter at RRTB Show, the RRTB Show. My prediction, I'm gonna lean with, by a split decision, Cesar Barrionuevo. By a split decision. Because Abel Ramos is gonna bring some heat to this dude. And he's gonna bring it, and he's gonna test him. But I think the movement might just be the difference in him to get some points. Can each one of these guys knock each other out? Yes, they got like a 60% knockout ratio. So they enough hard hitting, like they're gonna get tired. So if they get tired and they get hit enough in like round 8 and 9, they could stumble into something stupid. But I'm gonna go with a splicker 115-113 type split decision for Cesar Barrionuevo, who is number 6 by the WBC and number 12 by the IBF. So this is a nice, and that's another reason why I'm covering this fight. You're like, well, who the fuck is Cesar? He's number 6 by the WBC and number 12 by the IBF in the welterweight division. This just might be one day a fight for Errol Spence. And that's what we do on the Double RT Boxing Show. We cover the rankings. So when they get the opportunities, they're not just bums. They're knowledgeable fighters that we know. So if you're entertained by the show, please hit that thumbs up, subscribe if you have not already, and I'll see you on the next one. And follow me on Twitter, RRTB Show. Thanks a lot. #DragonOnTheNet.